This movie is about confrontation with self. That's what I think. I can't elaborate on that much more. Just a confrontation of self. Every single character that you're vicariously living through, if you watch it, is confronting self. So get ready to confront yourself.
Reality is not as we see it. Sometimes what we see as truth can be misleading.
This is not a test. This is a national emergency notification message. All authorities transmit immediately. Important details.
Our enemies want us to fear because fear pulls us away from the truth. The end is not gloom or doom, but the opposite.
Please stay.
The end is not what we perceive. It has just begun.
Yeah, Golgotha is just like, it's a movie that's got religion and horror and action kind of all together in one. It's not just like a horror movie just for the sake of horror or just for the sake of being scared, like, oh, some guy is dead and he comes alive again. Like, it's more so like got more meaning to it, and there's more meaning behind it, and there's like a deeper lesson to be learned just besides like, oh, it's just another horror film. So it's kind of got all of those things mixed together, which makes it like a super unique movie.
My name is Laren Grey. I play Vet in Golgotha. And Vet is an interesting character because he, right about every time he thinks he has himself figured out, he's confronted with something else that he has to figure out about himself. Something I can relate to.
I'm Ruben, Zamarron. I'm playing the role of Matt in Golgotha. So Matt is the type of character who is completely opposite from me. He is totally just a 180. And the reason why I say it is because he's a complete a-hole. And I'm not saying I'm like the nicest guy or anything like that, but anything that Matt does, any situation that comes to him and like the way he acts towards it, it's totally the opposite way that I would.
My name is Paige Shay, and I play Chris in Golgotha. And Chris is real interesting. She's really self-centered and self-absorbed. It's all about her. She lives in her own world. And really her only true friend and really true relationship is with Vet. And she uses her looks a lot of the time to get what she wants. And she'll use that to her advantage for sure, but she hasn't really been able to do that with Vet. And so I think that's why she has a really good relationship with him. And she's real strong. She acts like she's strong. You know, she's brave. And she's kind of excited about Golgotha because it's something that is different and new and kind of challenging. And I think she likes that. But then she's also kind of scared. There are moments where she's really like, oh my God, like this is really happening. I haven't really lived the best life that I could have, and she knows that deep down. And but I really like her though. I like her because I understand her. Not that I've had a past like she has, but she's been through a lot of stuff. You know, she's had a really rough past and came from not so good of a background, and so she's learned to take care of herself.
I think the crew, one thing I appreciate is I'm a big fan of comedy. I love to laugh. And it's always nice to have, I mean, everybody in the crew just always had a very good attitude. And sometimes some of our scenes are very heavy, or, you know, we got to be pissed off or whatever, what have you. And once, you know, we're kind of coming down from those emotions, the scene's kind of said and done and it's wrapped. It's always kind of nice to see a couple smiling faces and hear a couple jokes from someone that's not us. It kind of always lines up the mood for me. It makes me kind of comes back to earth. I come back to earth, and I always really appreciate the attitude that the crew has.
It's like a tether, right? Wouldn't you
Yeah,
say?
yeah, seriously. And as far as the cast goes, the cast has been absolutely amazing. It makes every single scene just a lot easier to do when your cast and your co-stars are on the spot and on point every single shot we do. Even if the shot isn't good, I know at least that they're giving it over 100%, and that never goes unseen for me. I love that. I always appreciate it.
For me, I think with the crew, a film set, no matter if it's a large one or a small one, is a delicate environment that requires very specific personalities that can handle that type of a operation. And I think Ken has done a great job of people who are dedicated and sort of like just sharp, and there have been a few slackers that have showed up to help, and they didn't last, but the sharp ones stuck around, and they've been great. The crew, wonderful. As far as the actors, same thing, this wasn't just, hey, who's around? It's not a pickup basketball game, a lot of thought was put into who is in front of the camera, and the talent has been great. Now, Ruben and I have hit some magic moments beyond explanation in there, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And Paige Shay and I always tune right in. It's like you have a radio and I have a radio, and we just randomly turn the dials and they hit the same station almost every time.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty cool.
For sure. I just feel like the crew is always so on point. Like everybody knows what their job is, what they're doing, and they do it, and it's just all comes together so perfectly. And everybody's so positive. Like everybody's always like happy and like in a good mood. And Ken is always just like so like just he's gonna get it done, and he's gonna find a way. And if there's not a way, he's gonna make a way, and it'll all be great. And Laren's like just always so. He's so upbeat and so positive and so just like lifts other people up, and then Ruben's like he's just like so funny to be around and just makes you happy, and like just the rest of the crew is just really like just really good people, and everybody gets the job done, and it all works out in the end. So
well, one more thing I'd like to say about crew is that even when they don't know what they're doing, they are sharp and adaptable enough to figure out what they're doing.
Yeah.
And adaptability, and because it's been a little bit like right on the edge sometimes, and also with the actors, it's been a situation of adaptability, able to really solve the riddle in a split second right at the end.
Because something always goes unplanned,
Oh,
where
yeah.
something is not how it was supposed to be, and you don't have like the right thing to fix it, so you just have to make the right thing to fix it, or just make it work, and like I remember it's just like all kinds of crazy stuff. It's just like all kinds of stuff that come together to make it work and make it look like what it's not supposed to look like, or whatever, so it just
and with the wrong
make a
actors
way.
and the wrong crew, that can fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
With the right actors and the right crew, magic happens, and we've hit that magic a few times. Yeah, I think.
That was amazing.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know where to start. But Ken is just always positive, and one main thing is he's so passionate. Like, just, you can tell whenever he talks about the project, like he believes in it. He knows that he knows that he knows that he knows in the core of his heart that it is something that he needs to tell and share. And that passion really leaks through in every other aspect of the film and everything that he does. And I love that he is going to find a way to make it work. Even if it's not working, if the lighting's not right or the sound's not right, or we are going to stop and we're going to get it right until it's right. And so I really, really like that about Ken, just his attitude, his passion, and his dedication to making it perfect in every way.
Well, I've had the great privilege of becoming a de facto student of Ken. I get to look over his shoulder, and I get to learn a little bit more about how it all goes behind that camera. And I think that helps me in front of the camera. It helps me in a lot of ways. So I've always been that type of person that wants to learn everything about everything. It's tied to what I'm doing. So Ken's been pretty good in that way. Very collaborative, open ideas. But he knows when an idea is shit too, so.
Working with Ken has been awesome. It's been amazing. And it's not, I'm just not saying it just to say it. It's the cool thing about Ken is he always has an eye for detail. He has an eye for what he wants. He knows the way things are going to work. And the thing about it is that obstacles come up more often than none. Definitely way more times than we wanted to hear. And it's at that point where these, and I'm talking about big obstacles, when these obstacles come and Ken doesn't just go, ugh. He looks at it, he looks at every possible angle and he figures it out and he still gets what he wants. And for someone to just have that discipline and be able to do that even when everything is just going bad, and at the same time keep the cast and the crew situated and everything is still under control, even though it quote unquote isn't, it's still, we still get what we want. And that's just, I've never worked with someone that is able to keep all that control. It's amazing, seriously.
We've been in some pretty gnarly graveyards.
Oh yeah, the graveyards. I forgot about the
Yeah.
graveyards. There was like a
Some
huge
very
graveyard in
cool
San
ones,
Antonio, and
yeah.
it was like so big. I've never
Yeah.
been in that big of a graveyard before.
Yeah.
And then like, I had to go to the bathroom and just go sneak off in the woods somewhere, and
Hey, at
you're
least you
good
didn't
to
pee
go.
on a grave, right?
This is so big, like out in the middle. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah.
My favorite, yeah, I'd say graveyards. I really enjoyed the graveyards because there's somebody might say it's disrespectful, but I think there's a kind of respect. There's something cool about a graveyard.
There's a lot of
Everybody
energy there.
likes graveyards. Isn't that weird? Like nobody, for what a graveyard actually represents, nobody ever goes, "Ooh, I hate graveyards." And people are always like, "Oh, cool, a graveyard."
Because I think death is like so unknown.
Yeah,
You don't know it, so that's kind of like a place where.
Well,
you know,
that's what this movie
don't
talks
know
about
where
is
it's
the
going.
what's beyond the known. As far as the difficulty of locations, one thing I have hated is cedar trees snagging in my hair. One cool location was down near where you live.
Yeah, we filmed down where I live.
In
and,
hell, it looked like.
Yeah, it was super windy. I remember that was a problem because it was like
What are those trees called?
so windy because I'm by the coast. So
All those trees, those weird trees.
the thorny trees.
Yeah. Are they
Weesach?
called the thorny trees? Is this a Dr. Seuss
Weesach,
novel?
Weesach trees.
Oh, Weesach trees, okay.
Yeah, lots of like just thorny bushes, but
Cool.
yeah, it was fun. It was actually right after Hurricane Harvey, so we had all of the trees down, and I was like, "This is so perfect," because all the trees are down. It looks like death came our way. So, yeah, it was pretty good set for that because we didn't have to do anything. It was just already kind of messed up.
What was your favorite set so far in the that we've been to?
I don't know. I mean, I liked filming at my house. That was fun.
My favorite for sure has to be we filmed in this house in Lockhart, that really old house. We filmed in like I think it's like over 100-year-old house or 100-year-old house, and everything about it was old. And it's not old to where like it's old to where it's history. And it was just I just thought of like all the people that have walked through the house, like just all the souls that have literally either lived there or visited or what have you. And now we're filming a movie there. That house is
It's like
just,
a graveyard.
yeah, literally. There's so much history in it, and the fact that we got to film this movie, which is whether we like it or not, whether it's a big part or a small part, it's history still in that house. And I was kind of been a geek about things like that, and it was very creepy. Like the house is just very creepy, and I'm also a big weirdo about stuff like that. If it has like a creepy vibe, sort of like a horror vibe, I'm immediately attracted to it.
What a lot of people don't know about locations is the immense amount of thought and work that goes into finding locations.
Yeah.
Immense, but it matters because background matters. It doesn't matter. Foreground has to be cool, but without a good background, it's not cool. But we've got some cool looking places, I think.
Cool looking people and cool looking places.
Yeah.
For a cool looking movie.
Ooh, special effects. Well, I'm an old school fan, and I like when you don't see too much. Because the less you see, the more you see. That's what I think. And
Very philosophical
a lot
there.
of yeah. And there's a lot of old school darkness and things that your mind is going to have to put in place. As far as stunt work, my roughest stunt on this one was getting eaten up by chiggers. I looked like I had gotten shot with a shotgun after those things got me, and it was awful. 3 weeks of hell. Don't ever get eaten by chiggers if you've never experienced them before. It's the worst thing ever.
For me, one of the stunts, it was a small stunt because I just had a harness on and they were pulling me kind of from behind, and it was like they were pulling my hair, but it wasn't really my hair. It was just like this harness, and that was pretty cool. I don't know. It was just fun, to just be, I don't know, pulled and not hurt afterward, and just be kicking and screaming, and then everybody's like, "Oh my God, is your hair okay?" And I'm just like, "Yeah." So it was fun. I think it's cool just to see how like everything gets put together to make the viewers see something else when it's just a harness, So it was just a neat experience, and and it was fun too. So
Movie magic. Well, one of the stunts that I really liked, and none of the stunts that I did are actually so far I thought that have been very difficult or physically just kind of like, whoa, that sucked. But one of the stunts that I thought was a lot of fun was we had two of our stunt guys and these awesome dudes, way taller than me, and I don't weigh a lot. So one of the stunts was him picking me up, and he goes like, "Hey, is it okay if I pick you up?" And I was like, "Yeah, go for it. It's fine." So I thought he was gonna kind of just pick me up and drag me away off screen, but he grabbed me and then he picks me up to right here, and then he just takes me this way. And that stunt happened like it was like 3 or 4 takes. So it was kind of always funny seeing like this big dude just coming at me like picking me up.
That reminds me of a
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
That reminds me of a stunt that I did with Sarah Gomez, who is not present here right now, but I got to throw her into a van, but I underestimated her weight. She's only like 70 pounds or something, and I picked her up and threw her into this van like laundry. It was a pretty rough stunt for her. I think her boot flew off or whatever. But, anyway, that was a stunt that I wasn't me doing the stunt, but you have to be careful when you judge people's weight because throw them around a little bit.
I remember whenever we were like stunt training and like fighting and stuff like that, I was like, "Oh, it's not gonna be a big deal. I'm just gonna go with my hair all cute in a bun." And I was like sweating, hair like falling down, like out of breath. I was so sore the next day.
Yeah, but you were good at that stuff.
Like I got kicked in the stomach, then I was gonna die. Like, I was like, I don't know if I can do this. So yeah, that was pretty funny. Just like in practice. So yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was interesting. I originally auditioned for a small part, and Ken said, well, he met with me at a coffee shop somewhere. Said, listen, here's the deal. I've interviewed a lot of people. It's a very particular role, and you fit it. So, and that's one of my kind of deals. I'm not the kind of actor who just goes and does anything. I like to do stuff that I specifically fit and that specifically fits me. I don't get to get away with much else. So, but what I do fit in, I fit very well. So I said, all right, I think this is something that I fit, and I was pretty happy. And I said, all right, I think I can contribute here.
I did the happy dance. Like, literally, I got the email, and I was like, yay! And I told my mom, I told my dad, and I was like, yeah, I totally did the happy dance. I was super, super excited. I loved the script because, I was scared reading the script. And I was like, man, if I'm scared reading it, then I know that it's going to be really good. And I was really, really excited for it. And it was, like the first big thing that I had ever gotten. And I was really, really excited for it. And I went and bought my herbal cigarettes that day so I could start practicing my smoking scene. And so, yeah, did the happy dance. I was super excited. And I'm so excited to be here now. So.
When I was offered the role, excuse me, originally I was not gonna take it. And the reason why was because at the time I was working full time, and I was kind of comfortable, and I knew it was a big project, and I knew that it was gonna last a long time. Like I already knew, Ken had already told me the dates, so I was kind of sitting a crossroad where I was like, I either stay with my 9 to 5 or take the role. And I took the role, and I remember listening to Ken on the phone, just letting me know, hey, you're really good for this character, and I had never met him before. So for him to say these things, it really kind of spoke to me, sort of like, hey, I can really do this. Like I can really go for this role and just take this head on. So I don't know, that phone call is always going to be something that I'm always going to, it's just there are moments in your life where they're significant, and there's other ones where they completely just pivot your life to another way. And that phone call, I believe, is definitely one of those moments.
I think the number one philosophical lesson for a movie like this is that the end is not the end.
For me, coming from like Chris's perspective, just to be not so self-absorbed and self-centered and so concerned with you and your life, but to really like step outside and see what's going on and be able to live a little more selflessly, because I think that's kind of one of the reasons why Vet is able to go on in the film. And am I giving away too much? Okay, I guess just to say that like Chris is really self-absorbed in the film, so to be able to live in the now, but not live in the now of like just being like it's all about me, and being able to just kind of take that away.
I would see it more, if I could see it more like in a cinematic way, more like a film way. I like for the viewer to take from this film and really get an idea that horror is coming back in a different way. Not that horror ever left, but I've noticed a lot of the horror films nowadays, it's more paranormal. We have a lot more stuff like that, and a lot less gags and things. And I really like for the viewer to see that this is more, we're hopefully going to get more of like slasher films, more like The Evil Dead, things that we used to see back then, that it's like, once I said before, it's a lot more gags, it's a lot more special effects, everything's a little bit more hands-on. I would really like for people to get inspired by this film and say, I want to make something like that, and go out and do the things that we did and put the time into it and really make a film as great as films that have been made before, like Halloween, like Nightmare on Elm Street. That's what I really want the viewer to take from this.
Personally, Golgotha has been a project, and an adaptable project that little magical moments happen. I also like the collaborative end of things. I throw a few things out there, ideas I have, and some get shot down, some of them help. And I think that's beneficial because, I don't know, I just happy that my input has been valued a little bit, rather than just being a piece of meat. But
Just a pretty face on
yeah,
camera.
just a steak on a plate. Yeah, that to me, it's been a real creative process. So I mean, I'm not trying to get into the meanings of the content of the film. I'm talking about my personal philosophy on art and the creation of art and solving riddles. We had to solve a lot of riddles, and we got real good at it. So that's what I think Golgotha has been for me, creative process.
Well, so, okay, I guess I kind of have like two answers, two parts. So, like the first part, like the film itself, I think the main meaning of that is just that there's something bigger than ourselves. And it doesn't have to be, whether it's God or whatever it is that you believe in, there's something bigger than just you. And as far as like the actual filming of Golgotha and that whole aspect, it's just been really neat to see everything come together. And it's amazing, to be honest with you. Like, I don't know how it even happens. Like, it just all comes together beautifully. Like, it's just a really, really big task, a really big project. And to see it come together has just really been amazing. So.
Yeah, stuff that looks like the way it looks on camera is amazing. You wouldn't even believe it. Sometimes I feel like, wait, where did we shoot that? I don't remember that place.
Seriously, it translates really well.
Yeah.
I think for me, Golgotha, it's more, this is actually all on a personal level. It was a film that really helped me because it's a huge project. It's a big project. I don't know if people are, we could sit here and say how big of a project it is, but I don't think people are really going to understand how big of a project it is unless you were actually on it. It's more of a film for me. I remember getting the call from Ken saying that I got in the role for Matt. And I was sitting in my car, and he tells me, these are going to be the dates. It's going to be this. It's going to be this much. And I was working full time. So I kind of was left in this crossroad. I just got in the call from a guy who I'd never met before. where it was either put it down and say, no, I can't because I got to go back to this 9 to 5, or just go for it and say, screw the 9 to 5. This is a huge project, and it was really promising. So to me, Golgotha has been a huge step in my life, in my career personally, just because I think it really kickstarted everything for me. It kickstarted just that whole like acting is it. That's it. That's what I'm gonna do. This film is actually what pushed me over that edge and made me take that leap. And I think I'm doing good. So.
Yeah, I'm thankful to have good actors around, because one problem I think in independent film is if you're a decent actor, there's also a very good chance your co-actors aren't going to be good. And wow, we've got some good people on this that really translate well to film and understand the characters and are really in control of that. So I'm just really thankful to have good actors around me, because, you know, I might be an okay actor or whatever, but you're only as good as the weakest member of the band, right? So.
And can I just say that it is so fulfilling to see that it's like that we're at this point interviewing, because like at one point it was like, man, we're just gonna like film forever, you know.
Film forever.
So like it's so which is fun too, and like which was great, and like we would all totally do it, but it's like it's so good to see that it's like all coming together, and it's gonna go out to the world, and it's so just like fulfilling and exciting, and I think everybody feels that way. So
It's like a puzzle on a table, all scattered, and then
exactly,
you start
that's
seeing
a
it
great
form.
Seriously,
like metaphor
you're
and
kinda
analogy.
I'm never gonna finish this.
No, you just pluck it away one at a time, and then
You
you
don't
start
have a
getting a
piece, you
picture.
just make that piece
Yeah,
fit.
seriously,
You
it's
just
like,
shove
it's
it.
gonna go in there.
You start cutting
Yeah,
it.
it's
Yeah, I know, exactly. That's exactly how the movie works.
Paint it and stuff. Yeah, that's blue.
Yeah, good actors. I'm very thankful to. Obviously, I'm thankful for the story and the intelligence behind the technical ends of the actual making of the film. But I'm really thankful for good actors around me, because I don't think I could hold up on my own. I mean, you got to have good people around.
Mm-hmm.